Hello everyone, we are from Group 3, one day presenting our group work. My name is Marata Christiana and this is our group member. There's Alexander, Amalia, Afida, Rena, and I. Next. This is our text. I will read the text. Gerald loved third grade. He had the best time each day within Mrs. Harold's room. First, they did reading each morning. Gerald loved that class. They read good stories out of the reading books. Some of them were plays and they all took turns acting out the story. They could work in their workbook. That was fun too, but there was one big problem in third grade. They had a multiply in math. Gerald did not want to spend time each day studying the multiplication fact. They said the multiplication fact in class. His parents called out multiplication fact at home. This was no fun for Gerald. He liked to add and subtract. He just hated learning the multiplication fact. Then, one morning, Mrs. Harold came into the class. He was holding a tape recorder, microphone, and a headset. He told Gerald he was in charge of the lesson that day. Everyone was going to be recording the multiplication fact. Gerald loved this. It was just like being a star holding that microphone. He held it out so everyone could be heard. Mrs. Harold told Gerald to make sure he told the class to go home and study because they would record the lesson again the next day. Gerald went home and learned every fact. He wanted to make sure he could answer each one the next day. Multiplication was great fun. And next we'll explain by my friend.
And next we have language features. So the language features or tenses that the text use is past simple tense and past continuous. And we already made a table here for the past simple. So past simple is used when the thing has happened, and past continuous is used when something was happening. So the past simple example here, we have loved and loved. In the sentence, Gerald loved third grade. He had the best time each day in Mrs. Harold's room. And then we have is holding. Is holding is a past continuous. And she was holding a tape recorder, microphone, and a headset.
Okay, now we move to the body event. From the part of body event, from the text, I have a little conclusion that I can take from the text. So from the part of the text, it has some temporal sequence markers. It means that there is a type that uses temporal sequence, such as like then. For example, the sentence is like, then one morning, Mrs. Harold came into the classroom. And then there is some action clause. For example, Mrs. Harold came into the classroom. And second one, she was holding a tape recorder, microphone, and a headset. And most tenses are used from the part even is used past simple tense, such as like came, told, called, and held.
The next part is orientation. Like the first one is who was involved. The one who involved was Gerald. And what happened? The thing that happened was he had the best time each day in Mr. Harold's room. They did read some great stories in their reading groups. Some of them were plays and took turns acting out the story and work in their workbooks.
Where the event took place, Mrs. Harold's classroom, when it happened in the third grade.
That's all for
That's all.
from
Oh, that's
our
all from us. Thank you.
Good day everyone. Today we are from Group 5 from EAP B60. We'll present about our project regarding about Recount text. And this is our group. We have Alivia Pramestia Zahra, Anissa Arbia Amini, Dewi Atika Mayasari, Ira Goza Mutakin, and my name is Muhammad Syahrian Berita. Today we are going to talk about recount text. So first of all, let's see about what is recount text. So basically, recount text is a text which retells events or experiences in the past. Its purpose is either to inform or to entertain readers. And the general structure of recount text itself consists of orientation, events or sequence of events, and the last one is reorientation. In here, in recount text, we have quite a few of language features. First is who, when, what, where, and why, which we can find in the first generic structure of recount text itself, which is the orientation. And then there's the temporal sequence marks. The temporal sequence marks represent by firstly, secondly, after that, finally. We can find this temporal sequence marks at the event part of the generic structure from the recount text itself. And then there's the time connectors as the conjunction. The time connectors also act as a conjunction. For example, like as, before, after, firstly, and etc. And then in recount text, we only use past tense, but it is not possible that we can find, but we can also find present tense or simple present tense. And then there's an action clause that we can find in the recount text. For example, like go refers to, change to when, and then by to brought, and so on. And then finally, we have emotion at the end. Recount text basically contains emotion at the end of the story, which consists of happiness, sadness, fear, anger, disgust, etc.
The orientation of the text consists of paragraph 1 and 2. When I was 16 years old, I went to the United States. I was a student then, and that was the first time I left home. I went to Boston to live with an American family for 2 months only. How exciting, I thought, how scared I felt, but I went all the same. So we can see in the slide, the meaning of orientation is it gives the readers the background information needed to understand the text, such as who was involved, where it happened, and when it happened. And then we move to who, where, when, and what in the orientation of the text. Who, the writer, where, Boston, the United States, and the New York train station. When the writer was 16 years old. What the writer's first experience in the United States. And then event. Event is a series of events ordered in a chronological sequence. Next slide. The events of the text consist of paragraph 3, 4, and 5. I will read the text. One of the things I remember quite clearly was my arrival. To start with, I missed the train from New York to Boston. That was trouble, although the family was there to greet me. When I arrived at the family house, I lost my voice. So nervous I felt. For 3 days, I did not say a word. Now I know that was an unconscious way to get familiar with the English they spoke. Fortunately, after 1 week I felt more confident. I started to speak a little and the people in the house began to understand me. We can see in the slide there are several verbs too in paragraph 3 until 4, which indicate the experience of the writer happened in the past. The words are was, missed, arrived, lost, felt, did, spoke, felt again, started, and then began. Next slide. The verb 1 of the several verbs 2 can be seen from the following table. Verb 1 of was is. Verb 1 of missed is miss. Verb 1 of arrived is arrive. Verb 1 of lost is lose. Verb 1 of felt is feel. Verb 1 of did is do. Verb 1 of spoke is speak. Verb 1 of started is start. Verb 1 of began is begin. Next slide.
So beside the explanation and the past tense of the recount text, there's also present tense located to in the events. So we found that a few of words of present tense such as remember, start, know, say, get, and understand. So the function of present tense in recount text is to describe or explain the definition of the sentences or to show that something still working or going in the present. Next slide.
One of the things I remember quite clearly was my arrival. To start with, I missed the train from New York to Boston. That was trouble. Although the family was there to greet me. When I arrived at the family house, I lost my voice. So nervous I felt. For the days I did not say a word. Now I know that was an unconscious way to get familiar with the English they speak. Fortunately, after 1 week, I felt more confident. I started to speak a little, and the people in the house began to understand me.
After we learn about orientation and also the events of the story, now we come to reorientation. First, we need to know what reorientation means. Reorientation is a part where the writer comment about the event or what happened at the end. This is the part where the orientation begins. How nice and enjoyable the second week was. The big morning breakfast, a snack at lunchtime, an early dinner at 6 p.m. became a routine. The shops were interesting. The vanilla ice cream was wonderful. The sports were attractive. And in a short time, new friends were like the old ones. This experience was unforgettable. So, what can we learn inside that part of the text? First, the use of parts in the simple past in the reorientation. We can see from this part of the text, there's became a routine, were interesting, was wonderful, were attractive, were like the old ones, and was unforgettable. This indicates that this reorientation part use simple past as the tenses, and they use the nominal simple past. And then We can see clearly right there, there's a use of emotion as an expression in a reorientation. To indicate that, there's a sentence, this experience was unforgettable. What is the ending and what is the emotion? From the last sentence, we know that this story is a happy ending story. In the end of the story, the writer feels happy, and so the story ends with a happy ending. It is because, as you can see, at the end of the orientation, the writer feels more relaxed and starts to go with the flow of every routine and the atmosphere of the United States, like the morning breakfast, early dinner, etc. Today, we have learned a lot about recount text and how to use recount text, as well as the language feature and the generic structure. We are from the Group 5 of EAP B60. Would like to say thank you for all of your attention and see you next time. Bye.
Hello everyone, today we are from Group 1 and we want to present about recount text analysis. Here is the name of our group. First, Armeita Halawati. Second, Tarakil Azra. Third, Akbar Nugroho. Fourth, Francina Maria Janet Kora. And last, Putri Aziza. This is the text. This is the generic structure of recount text. There is orientation that who has involved, what happened, where the event took place, and when it happened. An event, it's what happened in chronicle sequence, and reorientation, it's optional closure of event or ending.
Okay, I will explain the orientation. Becky was visiting Aunt Agatha at her house at the beach. It was a beautiful summer day. Becky had built a giant sand castle that morning. Aunt Agatha took pictures of the castle to send to Becky's parents. What? Becky was visiting Aunt Agatha at her house at the beach and built a giant sand castle. Who? Becky and Aunt Agatha when morning were at the beach. Next slide.
Next one is event. It was a great big sand castle. Later that morning, Becky and Aunt Agatha went swimming in the ocean. It was fun to jump with the wave. Then they went in the house and ate sandwiches and strawberries for lunch. Becky wanted to play on the beach that afternoon. Aunt Agatha told her it was too hot to go outside without a hat on. Becky didn't have a boat. Becky didn't have a bat. Aunt Agatha told her not to worry. She could wear one of hers. Becky tried on 4 hats. The pink one was really pretty, but it had a big bow in the back that was too long for Becky. The green hat was too fancy for Becky. Event, it's verb 2 and verb 1. Verb 2 that tried, it's try, went, go, was, is, ate, it, had, have, told, tell. Next.
Okay, next I will explain about conjunction. There are 3 conjunctions in this text. First was, it was a great big sand castle. It was fun to jump with the waves. Aunt Agatha told her it was too hot to go outside without a hat on. The pink one was really pretty, but it had a big bow in the back that was too long for Becky. Second conjunction and. Later,
That morning, Becky and Aunt Agatha went swimming in the ocean. Then they went in the house and ate sandwich and strawberries for lunch. Third, they are then conjunction. Then they went in the house and ate sandwich and strawberries for lunch.
Okay, I will to explain reorientation. She did not like that hat at all. The blue hat was nice, but it had an ugly bird on it. Then Becky saw a big brown hat with a yellow ribbon on it. That hat was made of straw. It was a perfect hat for the beach. It was too big for Becky's hat. It was a perfect hat for the beach. It was too big for Becky's hat, but she didn't care. It was a great hat.
Okay, I'll continue. So this is what we present. There is a language features consisting of verbs and conjunctions such as then and was. Second, action verb such as went, jump, ate, play, took, sent. Third, temporal sequence on morning, on every afternoon, on summer. And fourth, specific participants such as Becky, Aunt Agatha. And a fifth, simple past tense such as first, it was a beautiful summer day. Second, Becky had built a giant sandcastle that morning. Third, they went in the house and ate sandwich and strawberries for lunch. Fourth, Becky didn't have a bed. And the last, past continuous tense. First, Becky and Aunt Agatha went swimming in the ocean. And second, Becky was visiting Aunt Agatha at her house at the beach.
Thank you so much, everyone. This is the end of our present about recount text analysis. Thank you.
Good morning, good afternoon, or good night, everyone and Miss Beta, whenever you see this video. Today, in this opportunity, we are from Group 2. We'll present to you about our discussion about the analysis of the recount text. So this is the member of the group. The first, me, Vincent Siardana, and then Raiza, Sasa, Satrio, and Raihana.
Okay. Hello, my name is Asata Satul Amalia, and I want to read the story first before we analyze the text. Percy Adams. Percy Adams lived in a great neighborhood. He had many friends there. Percy woke up one morning and took a long stretch. He had a good night and was very rested. First, he walked in the kitchen and ate a good breakfast. He waited at the door for someone to open it and let him out. He had things to do. Percy walked outside and looked around. Everything seemed fine. Then he went and checked on his friend Al the dog. Al was still sleeping and didn't want to go with Percy. Percy walked across the yard and visited the mother bird and her babies. They were fine and were eating some worms for breakfast. They didn't even look at Percy. They were busy. Percy walked across the street and visited his friend Bubba. Bubba was outside, stretched out in the sun. Bubba was glad to see Percy. They were great friends. Bubba said hello to Percy with a great big meow. Percy gave a meow right back. Percy and Bubba played and played. They visited their other friends in the neighborhood. It was time to go home. They were tired and it was a good time to take a nap. So that's the story entitled Percy Adams. Next, we will start to analyze the text.
My name is Satrio. I'm gonna tell the generic structure of the context. A. Orientation, to show what happened in the text, who was involved, where the event, and when it happened. B. Event, what happened in chronological sequence. C. Reorientation, optional clause of ending. Next, purpose of recontext, to retell both Persedam's activities and his friend in his great neighborhood.
I'm Raizana Belgunagara, and here I will present about the orientation of the text. Orientation of the text, it gives the readers the background information needed to understand the text, such as who was involved, where it happened, and when it happened. Orientation of the text Percy Adam is Mercy Adam lived in great neighborhood. He had many friends there. We have who, when, where, and what. Who is Percy Adam? When is one morning? Where is in a great neighborhood? And what is Percy had many friends there?
My name is Raihana Farida. I will explain about event of the text. So event is the part contains a series of events and ordered in a chronological sequence. Events of the text is start from sentence Percy woke up one morning until sentence Buba was glad to see Percy. An action verb in the text is art, live, live, walk, when, go, had, have, at, eat, check, say, walk, wait, did, do, give, took, take, look, visit, play, rest, seem, see, stretch. And the sequence conjunction in this text are first and then. Simple present is none because the text does not contain an explanation of an event or other things. The text focuses more on a series of events experienced by the main character, Percy Adams.
And the last, the orientation of the text will present by me, Vincentia Ardana. The reorientation of the text is an optional closure of events or endings. The reorientation of the text in this text includes 7 last sentences. They were great friends. Buba said hello to Percy with a great big meow. Percy gave a meow right back. Percy and Buba played and played. They visited their other friends in the neighborhood. It was time to go home. They were tired and it was a good time to take a nap. The story happy or sad ending? The story is happy ending. The proofs that the story is happy ending are they were great friends. Percy and Buba played and played. And the last, they visited their other friends in the neighborhood. So that's all from us, Group 2. Thank you for your attention and have a great day.
Hello everyone and Miss Beta. We are from Group 4 and this time we will present the results of our group discussion. First, let me introduce the group members from our group. Here is Aksa Felia, Aska Sarpatehan, Kidung Kayisa Ramadania, Malika Prachna Halista, and Yasmin Sofia Hamidah. Next.
Before we start, let me introduce some points we analyze from the text. There are generic structure which include orientation, who, when, where and what, events or what happened based on chronological sequence, first, second, etc. Reorientation, which include emotions at the end. Future language, which include tenses, temporal sequence, and conjunction. Next, please. The first one is orientation. Who or the characters of the text include Anna, Anna's mother, Anna's father, and Miss Browner. When or the time the event take place is April, Tuesday morning. Where? In kitchen and school. What happened in the text is Anna was going to take a test to see how much they learned so far that year.
So about the event, Anna woke up early in the morning, got dressed in the school uniform, then she ate the breakfast cooked by her father. Anna's mother worked as a teacher at Anna's school. Anna went to school together with her mother. She was going to take an exam. When she arrived in her class, Miss Browner was already there. Then Anna took the exam. She tried to remember the material that had been given by her teacher. After the class finished the exam, the class played together.
Okay, next Kidung.
Next, about the reorientation, it was a great day. Emotion, the end of the story was happy ending. We can find it in the last sentence, which says it was a great day.
In this story, there are several tenses. It can be seen from the picture next to, which I color it into two colors. The yellow color describes the present tense and the red color describes the past tense. There are many past tense in this story. And the present tense is in the sentence is number 1, Anna's mother is a teacher at Anna's school. Number 2, Anna is in the 2nd grade. Next.
Next is the temporal sequence. From this text, the temporal sequence is this day morning in April. From sentence, it was a Thursday morning in April. Next is conjunctions. First is after. It from sentence, after Anna got dressed, she went into the kitchen where she could smell bacon. Number 2 is then. From sentence, then they ate lunch.
Okay, done. That is the presentation from Group 4. Thank you for your attention. Have a nice day.